Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do a review of Trash Pandas by gamewright, which is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up. And hopefully you've had a chance to check out our how to play and playthrough video. Now we have a lot of games from gamewright. They're one of our favorite companies. And that's because we've been playing their games with our boys since they were 3 and 5, so it's about 20 years. So we're happy to get this because this is a push your luck set collection game. So it has an interesting combination of mechanics. So you're going to want to score the most points by stashing cards. And so you'll start out with so many cards. So the first player will have 3 cards in their hand, second player will have 4, and so forth, up to 4 players. So the first player starts out with less cards. And when you're looking at your hand, you're going to be able to use these cards at a certain time, or you can stash them. And the press your luck part is, before you can stash cards, you roll the dice. Roll the die. And you can bust. So if I roll, for instance, this, I get that token. So this is a memory aid. Now I can keep on going or stop because there's a 1 in 6 chance that if I roll that again, I will bust and lose all my progress. And if you bust, you'll get a card. So it's nice that you'll get something even when you bust. So I roll that. So I now have this. Now there's a 2 in 6 chance I'm going to roll something again. Okay, I got that.
That's how you rolled during the game.
Yeah, but you still beat me.
I did.
All right, so I would stop there. But let's say I kept on going. All right, I busted. But there's cards to help you deal with bad luck. So I could play Nanners, ignore your last roll, and choose to stop. So then that means I wouldn't have busted, and then I can spend these tokens in any order that I want, which I'll go over in a moment. Or I can play a blammo. Reroll the last die and 1 point per, or I can get 1 point per blammo stash. So if I don't spin this card out of my hand, I already had one, and if I stash it, stash cards go face down off to the side, it's worth 1 point if I don't spin it. But if I spin it, then I would re-roll. Say I didn't have that Nanners card. And I did get lucky and I got a 5 out of 6. Now if you do manage to get 6 out of 6 tokens, you spend all 6 first. The recycle token is not used. You spend all, so you spend these 5, and then you get to roll again and get up to 3 more tokens after you spend these 5. Now, I don't think we've only done that once since we've played, so that's rare. So let's go over what the other tokens do. So let's say I did, this allows you to draw cards. You go into the trash as a panda, and you get more cards. And that's, you probably want to spend that first because you'd want a variety of cards. And you know, I didn't shuffle these, so let me shuffle this up real quick because when you score the game and you have all your cards, you know, stacked up in sets. All right, so say I had these 3 cards. I spent my Nanners, let's say, and okay, so I draw 2. So that's why I would want to draw because I only had blammos left. Okay, the fiche is what I want. So let me explain how the points go. If you have the most fiche than any player, so I have 3, Julie has 2, and our son David has 1, I'd get 5 points, Julie would get 3, and David would get 1. If we're tied, you get 1 less point. So if you want to know where that is in the rules, because it's kind of buried, just so you know, it's buried right here in how scoring goes. Okay, and how many cards you draw at the beginning of the game is right here. Pies. So it's yucky pizza. Whoever has the most has 6, second most 2, third most 1. So it is possible if there's in a 4-player game, if there's 2 people tied for last place, they get 0 because it's 1 less. Now, you have to have a card to get points. So if Julie has pies and I have none, I don't get second place. I have to have at least one of those cards in my stash. Yum Yums, 4 and 2. Those are worth 1 each. Nanners is worth 7, but you don't get anything for second or third place. And this is how Julie beat me. I thought I was stashing a lot of those.
I didn't realize how many I had.
Now this is a steal card token. So I probably want to steal a card before I stash anything. So let's say I do that. Julie can play kitten. And this number here tells you how many there are on the deck. So this gives you an idea that there's a lot of Nanners. So she stops me and she steals from me instead. But then I could say, well, I block your steal. What I did is, during the game, she played a kitten and I played a kitten. So I still stole from her. But I could have played doggo instead, blocking Sure, Julie could play. So I play this. Julie plays doggo. She blocks my steal, and she gets 2 cards. Now, shiny, you steal a stash card from a player. So, say Julie has these cards stashed. If I were to play shiny, and you do this as you can do this before you roll the dice, okay? Because if you do shiny, when you're resolving these, I might not get a card that I can use. So, well, and then you put it in your hand. So I steal a random card. Now, if Julie had a face-up stash card, I'll explain how that matters. I'd be able to see her stash cards first, and then maybe I'll steal that instead of a random face-down one.
No, you steal for a stash card.
I'm pointing out, though,
yeah,
you could have face-up stash
Gotcha.
cards, which I'll explain in a moment how
right.
you get those.
Yep,
okay,
yep.
So that's stealing. That's drawing 2 cards. You can stash or draw. You can stash 2 cards. And if you notice here with where's the one?
Which one, honey?
Resolve a token twice. So if I play this out of my hand, in pies, I can get 4 cards,
Yep.
or I can stash 2.
You did that a lot.
Yeah, or I can stash 4, or I can steal twice. Fiche does take a card from the discard pile. So it'll be a discard pile, and you get to look through the discard pile. So if you ever remember little rules like that, because it doesn't tell you, you can look right here on the back.
It's nice.
Okay, so it's a nice little reference because here it doesn't tell you that one. So they could have added that it's you get to look through the discard pile. So the reference sheet card is useful, but a little rule like that is you need to look for there. So that could have been a little bit more useful. Okay, this means that, what do they call that card?
I don't know.
It's just a mask. Actually,
Yeah, it's just a mask.
They don't name it in the chart here. So what happens is you reveal a card and you put it in your hand. And then Julie can decide, and anybody else is playing, if they have a Blammo card in their hand to stash it. So say, I put this in my hand. Julie decides to stash her Blammo. She says, okay, cool, I'm going to stash my Blammo. Then I get to draw another card for every Blammo that other players stash, but they don't get to see what I have.
But we have to put our Blamos up, face up.
Correct. That's where, remember you were saying, how would you be able to steal a card face up from my stash?
Right.
Because if you just try to stash a card that I reveal with the mask, it goes face up in your stash card. So this allows you to do a little bit of card counting. Because I'm never going to know what Julie stashes, and she's never going to know what I stash. The only time we're going to know what we stash is when this tile is used, that icon. So Yum Yum forces a player to continue rolling. So let's say I have these 4, and I say, I'm done. Julie says, no, you're not. And she plays Yum Yum into the discard pile. And I roll again, and look, I busted. Now, what does this do? This is the recycle. So if I got those 3 tokens, I can recycle and unuse any one of these 3 unused tokens. So I can get that one. However, if I got all 6 tokens, which is rare, I cannot use a recycle token, because what I get instead is I get to, after I spend these 5, as I mentioned before, then I can roll again and get up to 3 more after I spend them. So at the end of the game, you'll reveal, these will never be stashed, the kitten and the doggy. You play until the deck runs out. The player who draws the last card finishes their turn, and nobody else gets to play after that. So you could have cards in your hand when somebody does that you don't get to use. So then you just compare your stash cards and you determine who's first, second, and if possible, third place. So that is how to play. Very, very simple, but
Yep.
there's a couple little rules here you might have to reference that are not on here. And other than that, it's pretty easy.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look at our review here.
Okay.
We give our positive, negatives, and neutrals.
And I go first.
And then we give our BGG rating.
All right, here we go. So I found this to be a super fun set collection card game. The art is really cute. The pieces are really nicely made. They're real thick. You know, they're light in your hand too, so it's not real heavy. The dice is really nice. It's like engraved. I know David said there's a word for it, but it's like things are engraved in it. And what I really love is it plays so fast with 2 players. We can get it done like 15 minutes and it's great because if we wanted to play, say we wanted to play 3 or 4 games in one night, we could play this one and I still wouldn't be tired, and I could still play another 1 or 2 games afterwards. So I like that.
Let's take a look at the die here. It's an etched die.
Etched, that's
they didn't have to do that. You know, other companies would have done what's called they would have stamped it.
Oh, but I like that you can.
Right. No,
like
this is better production value. This shows that they cared about it. Or they might have you put stickers on it, which is the worst. Ugh. That's the worst production.
And he has to always put the stickers on.
And stamping it is in between quality, but this is the most quality.
It's
right
awesome.
Here. It's a nice chunky die, nice weight to it. And then these tiles.
They're so light and they're just well made.
They're a wood. They're a wood tile. So you can hear that there. And they're nice painted, and this is stamped too. But you know, they're going to hold up.
Yeah.
And then the cards. Now, gamewright always does a good job with their quality. They are linen cards, and what that means, if I can get it to shine here, there's a foil stamp. It's not actual linen, okay?
But the art is just so cute.
I can maybe show it on this camera. See here, wait, get it.
Almost.
You can see it right there. That's actually what they do is they print out the press sheet, and then they do a foil stamp, which is a light like foil over the top of it, which helps the card hold up over time when you're shuffling. Okay, so that's again quality steps that other people will do Kickstarters on and say, we'll add linen stamping if you get this so much money. I understand. Okay, it does increase the cost, or we'll do etched dice. But you know what? This wasn't Kickstarted. This is part of their regular production quality. All right.
What did you have to say, sir?
All right. So I also said quality components second to last there.
Oh,
since
yes, you
I just
did.
went over that. So it's an engaging push your luck set collection game, and that's an interesting combination of mechanics. You don't see too many games like that. Usually when it's a push your luck game, you're just pushing your luck.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's
Straight up push your luck, right?
Yeah.
So this is a nice combination. And then it's less experienced players may struggle at first with the mechanics. So what that means is if you're playing with a young person, you're definitely going to want to help them make their decisions on what order to spend their tiles on, because you're going to want to grab cards or when to use these cards. So someone who's an experienced gamer is going to probably dominate at first, okay? So just realize that it will probably take a less experienced player 2 or 3 games. But since it plays so quick and it's so much fun, people probably won't mind losing because it goes so fast. You just play again and they lose and they learn from experience.
Exactly.
So thematic art and setting, I mean, you could just see there, just even on the picture that, yeah, pandas do that stuff.
They do.
And then it's a decent filler that plays quickly. So we agreed on a lot of the same things. And keep in mind when we do our reasons, we don't talk to each other. We set it up separately. Yep. And so when we say the same things, you can tell that it's speaking to us.
Well, and also too, we've been married for a really long time, so.
It's before electricity.
Oh dear goodness.
All right, so here's our rating on the BGG scale.
We both said 8.
Yeah, enjoy playing. Would suggest it. So when it comes to playing a push your luck game, this comes to the top of the list. This would probably be on a top 10 push your luck.
Definitely.
The reason it's not a 9 and 10 because there's other push your luck games that our son would choose over this, or other people would choose over this. We did play this with David, and he said that's all right. But he hadn't wanted to play it again. He chooses other push your luck games.
Yes,
it doesn't mean we don't like it, but that's what would make it go to a 9 or 10 is because other people
want to play it too.
Would want to play it too.
Yeah.
And maybe between us two, over time, it will go to a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
But for now, it's an 8, which means that if you're, and again, these games aren't that expensive.
No.
And you're looking for, and this would be great for young people. And I should have put on there that it will teach math skills.
You should have.
Yeah, this is something that I would.
Nice job, teacher.
I would have used with my gifted and talented kids, or just with kids in general in small groups. It would be fun for them to play.
I think so. Yeah.
In fact, what I used to do, I got to do videos on this someday. I would have my kids, because when you do pull out gifted and talented, where they come from the classrooms, they come to a location where you have your class. Kids would forget, and so I would always have the first part of class a game to play. And it would usually be a class, I mean, it'd always be a game that would tie to the standards or to cognitive development. So for instance, they would play Set or Jungle Speed, which develops a nonverbal intelligence.
Yeah.
But this would be a game I would have them, I would probably have out. And so what would happen is you'd have 5 kids that arrive on time. They'd be playing, and then the kids that would come in 5-10 minutes late, like, sorry, you missed out.
They'd be like, oh, darn it.
And so that would encourage them next time to come in on time.
Yep.
So a little strategy there for you. All right, so thanks for watching.
Thanks so much, you guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.